Wow. Good morning. Congratulations to all of the graduates. We are so proud of all of you. It is an incredible honor and a privilege to be with you today. And I'm humbled and excited to be the Fall 2019 Commencement Speaker at American University. President Burwell and Provost Myers, thank you for conferring this honorary degree. And I will try to convince the folks back home in Philadelphia to start calling me Dr. Nutter. Probably not. But I must say, what a great robe, and I love the hood as well. American University has some of the best robes anywhere in the United States of America. Let me begin by saying how thankful I am to our president, Secretary Sylvia Burwell, for inviting me to speak here today. President Burwell and I got to know each other, of course, when she was Secretary of the Department of HHS, Health and Human Services, and I was the mayor of Philadelphia. Secretary Burwell performed enormously important work on so many initiatives, but of course, especially the Affordable Care Act. I know my 24-year-old daughter is still enjoying being on our health plan. I admire President Burwell's service to our nation, and I greatly admire and appreciate her leadership and commitment to American University. Please give her a well-deserved round of applause. President Burwell, one of your many achievements that very much resonated with me, given my interest in sustainability, is what you have accomplished in that area. And let me commend you, your team, and especially the students for becoming the first university to reach carbon neutrality in America. And this was accomplished 2 years ahead of your quite ambitious schedule. Now, like a city, it takes a great team of leaders and supporters to make a great university grow and thrive. And we certainly have that team with us today. With that in mind, let me recognize and thank Chairman Mark Duber and the American University Board of Trustees, President Daniel J. Myers, all of the deans of schools and colleges, the faculty, administrators, and staff members, and all of the folks on the platform this morning. And what an incredible start to our program today with Emily Sherman and the national anthem, the invocation by Reverend Osbeek, and Dr. Ogg and her introduction of two incredible speakers, Shalom and Shadea. Please recognize these great students. I was not making speeches like that at my graduation. Well, actually, I didn't have to worry about being the graduation speaker when I came out of school. Let me also thank, in particular, Lisa Arakaki and Brian Shiglinski, both of whom I know that I drove completely crazy in the months leading up to this commencement ceremony, but I want to thank them. They really helped me a great deal. Stephanie Lee, who navigated my way through traffic this morning, the moment I mentioned her name, all roads opened immediately. Thank you, Stephanie. I have two shout-outs, one to Stephanie Livingston Thornton, an extended family member of mine who's graduating today, and Ms. Joy Thomas Moore, a huge friend to my wife and I back in Philadelphia. Please recognize them as well. And lastly, and importantly, I want to especially give recognition to those who sometimes, in the course of our busy days, we may not always recognize or think about. The folks in maintenance, environmental services, facilities, food service, and so many other departments and agencies, because they really ensure that the university runs. And let's give them a huge round of applause as well. But the most important group of people here today, in addition, of course, to our nearly 700 graduates, are the family, friends, supporters, and mentors of our graduates. And I'm asking the graduates to please stand. That's where you stand. Turn around or turn to the side and thank the support network of yours, the folks who are really there with you through the good times and the bad. It's always the most disruptive part. You can be seated now. And so let me begin by saying that I am a firm believer in the age-old advice given by Franklin Delano Roosevelt about speeches. Be sincere, be brief, be seated. I want to talk to you today about 3 words that I have found may shape your life, your relationships, and your future: faith, resilience, and service. And I want to suggest that you've experienced all 3 of these things here at American University in a variety of ways. Faith, according to the source of knowledge and information, Wikipedia, is defined as, quote, confidence or trust in a person, thing, or concept. The university exhibited faith in you by receiving and approving your application, and with the belief and faith that you would be here today at commencement. But more importantly, you had faith in yourself all along the way, even on the tough days, that you could do the work, that you could withstand the rigor of Americans' academic excellence, and that you would graduate. Now, some of you here today, as Shala mentioned, will graduate with different honors: cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude. Well, when I graduated from Penn, my mother said, "Oh, Lordy." And so I know this was not an easy road for some of you, but you had faith in yourself. Never lose that. When tough times happen, and they will, whether in school, on the job, in your family, or with friends, it will be resilience that will carry you through. Resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, also known as toughness or grit. It's that drive inside of you that keeps you going even when you don't think you can do more. But somehow, some way, you manage to figure out juggling courses, dealing with professors, helping a friend or roommate who was not doing so well, handled adversity, dealt with diversity, listened to static from your parents, and had too many late nights studying. And in the process, you grew stronger, learned more things about yourself and others, and you're a better person as a result. This resilience factor will stay with you, and you'll use it more and more in your lives. Never lose that. When I was mayor of Philadelphia, before, during, and after the Great Recession, I wondered many days and nights, how are we going to get through all of this? It was the resilience of the people of Philadelphia that helped me to understand that if we stuck together, if we kept moving forward, if we didn't get distracted by nonsense and foolishness, if we showed up day after day after day, and if we demonstrated our commitment to the citizens and to each other, our resilient and unwavering efforts would pull us through, and they did. And so now for this day, this moment, this turning point in your lives, where are we? Well, you've been on a journey, you've reached a particular milestone, and now this destination on your journey. The mission statement of American University is to advance knowledge, foster intellectual curiosity, build community, and empower lives of purpose, service, and leadership. The university articulates equally powerful and meaningful statements of vision and values, all of which have great meaning to me as a former public servant. If you read my bio or go to Wikipedia, you'll find that I'm a former city councilman, former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, former president of the Pennsylvania Municipal League, and of course, former mayor of Philadelphia, my hometown. Well, that's a lot of formers, and I can now admit to you that being a former is often better than being a current. I still attend the U.S. Conference of Mayors meetings, and as a past president, I get great seats, great accommodations, and have no responsibility at all. It is quite fantastic. But seriously, there is no greater calling or vocation than being of service to others. American University has prepared you well for service, the action of helping or doing work for others. When we look at the history and efforts of American University, chartered by Congress in 1893, at least one example of Congress doing something good. We know American to be a university that's constantly pushing the envelope on the issues of the day. Diversity and inclusion with your plan for inclusive excellence. And I commend you for focusing on this work with established goals and the kind of intentionality that it takes to make progress in these tough areas. The training programs for faculty and students that are increasingly important in our ever-diversifying and global environments. Engagement with the nearby community is a critical element of learning about and learning from your neighbors, and I would suggest a critical component of your academic and personal education as well. And the life of this campus, hosting over 14,000 students and faculty. There are cities in America smaller than this community. This is a significant place in one of the most significant cities in the world. And so all of you as graduates are at the center of all of this activity, and the opportunities to serve are incredible. Never lose sight of that. Everyone needs some help from someone at some point in their lives, and you could be that someone one day. Let me close by telling a story about a young person about your ages, but a long time ago. Now, for the students, this will be the part of the talk that you'll probably roll your eyes at as your old guest speaker tells stories from way back when. But I think your loved ones will appreciate it. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but I actually was 22 years old one time. And I'll give you the quick version. As you know, I graduated from Penn in 1979, 22 years old. And let me tell you what happened after that. A few months later, I was hired by Xerox Corporation in Philadelphia. In September of 1981, just 21 months later, I quit my job at Xerox at the age of 24 because they did not realize the need to have a 24-year-old senior vice president, which I thought I should be. In 1982, at 25, I ran for a local office in my city called committee person. I lost. 2 years later, at 27, I ran for committee person again and lost. I then made my first important political action. I moved. 2 years later, in 1986, at 29, I ran for committee person again and won. The next year, at 30, I ran for city council, lost. In 1988, now barely in a new job, my car died during the campaign. Back when I was at Penn, I had borrowed one of those big blue Deer Park water jugs. I think the statute of limitations is over, and I think Penn can't come after me for it. But over all those years, every day when I had change in my pocket, I put it in that jug. And I carried it from place to place, wherever I moved, and it had a pretty decent amount of change in it. In 1988, I found myself turning that jug upside down every day to get quarters so that I could use them to get on SEPTA in Philadelphia and go to work. In 1991, 3 years later, I ran for city council again and won. And 26 years and a couple months later, after quitting my job at Xerox, I was standing on the stage of the Academy of Music being sworn in as the 98th mayor of Philadelphia, 20 years after getting quarters out of a water jug just to be able to go to work. Faith, resilience, service. With support from family and friends, don't ever let anyone tell you what you can't do. Just show them. Have faith in yourself. Let your resilience work for you, and your service will be the rent you pay for the space you occupy. For all of our parents, family, and friends, when your graduate makes certain decisions that they will make, just remember your commencement speaker turned out pretty well after making some decisions that not everyone understood or agreed with. I can assure you, trust me, they will be fun. You've all been very patient and kind. As I mentioned before, I'm thrilled, honored, and appreciative for this opportunity to share this most important moment and achievement in your lives. I'm very excited for you and about you. I know you will do good and do well in this city, nation, and world using faith, resilience, and service as your guides. I hope you know that I've been sincere in my comments. I tried to be brief, and now I'll be seated. Thank you. Congratulations to the class of 2019. I love you.